Hello and welcome to Winter Detox program. We're kicking off today, 28 days of yoga. I'm pretty excited. The sequence I'm going to share with you today is the sequence we're going to be doing for the next week. I'm going to go into quite a bit of alignment detail today. And then I'm going to put up another video tomorrow, which will be the same sequence, but moving through it a bit more rapidly, so that if you've been practicing yoga for a while and you can do without the detailed alignment, you can practice at a more comfortable pace for you. Otherwise, if you're a beginner, stick with today's video and get really familiar with the alignment and go at a pace that's comfortable for you. So today's sequence, this week we're going to be focusing really on lymphatic flow. So lymph is fluid which hangs out all around the body in between organs. It doesn't have a particular casing, and its job is really just to sweep up toxins, impurities, diseases, bacteria, like chemicals, things that don't belong to us, that are not part of us. The lymph system identifies it, sweeps it up, and carries it off to the lymph nodes, where it starts to process those toxins, and the immune cells, start fighting and battling against foreign bacteria and viruses. So the lymph system doesn't have a pump, so it requires us to move in order for the lymphatic flow to really happen. So we're going to be focusing on areas of high concentration of lymph glands. So up under the collarbones, the front of the chest here, under the arms, and then through the center channel of the body and through the hips and the groin. It's going to be our main area of focus today. As well, we're going to be doing a little bit of core work, building our internal heat, which is really important for cleansing and purifying when we're detoxing. And we're actually going to start with some pranayama. I wanted to share with you the practice of Kapalabati, which is the breath of fire. It actually translates to skull shining breath. And I like to think of it as like glitter bombs shooting out of my head, because it really is brightening and energizing. And particularly if you're coming off coffee or sugar, this is a great tool to have to naturally re-energize yourself using the power of the breath. If you're used to having stimulants or other things to kind of boost your energy, Kapalabati is where it's at, I promise. So let's give it a try. I'm just going to shift back so you can all see me a bit better. You might like to sit on a cushion to elevate your hips. And the way Kapalabati works is it's the pumping action of the diaphragm. So the diaphragm sits up under the rib cage, sort of like a soft parachute when it's relaxed and the lungs are empty. It just sort of hangs out up here. And then as we inhale, it contracts down so that the lungs can expand. And what we're going to be doing in Kapalabhati is this kind of short, sharp pumping action. So pressing the diaphragm up to expel the air out. And we just focus on the exhalation. The inhalation will look after itself. If you can just focus on pushing all that air out in one big burst, the inhalation comes autonomically. So we'll go ahead and do a round of 10 together to get started. If you have high blood pressure, this is not one for you, I'm afraid. So just go ahead and you can do a regular equal breath. So take an inhalation for a count of 3, exhalation for a count of 3. It's a really nice calming practice. And don't feel you're missing out, because that's a great practice as well. Those of you who maybe are prone to feeling lightheaded or dizzy, just watch out for that, because if you do start to feel dizzy, you want to just drop the Kapalabhati immediately and return to regular breathing. But if you're really pushing all your air out, you shouldn't start to hyperventilate. That's, if you're not holding on to the CO2, you're not in danger of getting dizzy or hyperventilating. So focus on that exhalation, push it out. Bring your hand to your lower belly, because that's where the kind of guts of this action is going to come from. And we'll take a round of 10. So to start, we'll just inhale to exhale. Exhale all the air out. begin for a round of 10. And release the breath. Just noticing how that was for you. Maybe it felt a little awkward, which is totally normal if it's your first time. Those of you who are familiar with the practice of Kapalabhati, you can go ahead and take a round of 60 with 2 equal breaths and then another round of 60. The rest of us, we're just going to do another round of 10 and just feel that out. So inhale to prepare. And for 10, pumping the diaphragm. Take a break there. And if that felt okay for you and you'd like to do a little more, the next invitation is to go for a round of 30. So find a pace of breath that's going to suit you. You might find that my pace is too slow or too fast, so you take a pace that's going to work for you. And we'll go for a round of 30 now. Releasing that practice now. Everyone just returning to normal breathing and observing the effects of the practice. You might start to feel a bit of warm or buzzing or energizing in the body. Or not, that's okay too. Slowly opening the eyes now. And filing that one away for when you're going to need it. Reaching the hands behind the back now and interlacing the fingers. Let the spine be long and draw the elbows towards each other. Inhale here, and as you exhale, twisting over the right side. Inhale back to center. And exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Just flowing with your breath here. One more to each side now. Trying not to crane yourself too hard or strain the body. We're just warming up here. Warming up the spine and release. And then inhale, draw the heart forward, gaze is high. And then exhale, chin to chest, tuck the tail, making a C curve with the spine here. Inhale, the heart comes forward. Exhale, rounding the spine. 3 more, just like that. Moving with your breath here. And coming back to center. We're going to go and set ourselves up on all fours now. So stack your knees directly under your hips and your wrists directly under your shoulders. Take time to check that out. Stacking the joints is really important in yoga so that we can support the muscles to do their best work when we have the strength and alignment of the bones. The muscles aren't straining too much. And then inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, tuck the chin and the tail, rounding through the spine, lifting up between the shoulder blades. Inhale to look up. Exhale, round. And then just a few more rounds of these cat stretches, moving in sync with your breath. Warming up the spine and finding space between the vertebrae here. Last round. Then coming back to neutral spine. And go ahead, tuck the toes. And then pressing through the hands and feet, lift the hips up and back so you're straightening the spine and working towards straightening the legs. If you've got tight hamstrings, the knees are still going to be bent, which is perfectly fine. Just work on lifting the sit bones up so that you have as much length from the crown of the head to the tail as you can get. Really breathing space in between the vertebrae here. We're just going to take a few deep breaths here. You can use the Ujjayi breath if you're familiar with that one. If you're not, you can give it a go by taking a nice full inhalation. And then exhale out your mouth like you're Darth Vader. Inhale again. And then as you exhale, you're going to make that same sound with your lips closed. So it's like that kind of Darth Vader-y, ocean-like sound by just constricting the breath a little at the back of the throat. The Ujjayi breath brings heat into the body, which is going to help cleanse, detox, and purify. Inhale, drop the knees to the mat. And sink your hips to your heels. Just take a brief child's pose here. That might have been a bit of work on the wrists, so you can just roll the wrists if you like. And coming back up to all fours. Take the right foot and step it in between the hands. You can help it if you need to, and just stack the knee directly over the ankle here. Interlace the fingers on top of the knee. You can tuck the back toe for stability if you like. Drawing the pelvis forward and tucking the tail under. Starting to warm up through the hips now, awakening all of this energy through the hip region and all of those lymph nodes through the groin now. So if you're using the Ujjayi breath, you can imagine that ocean-like sound is really evoking this image of water and that lymph flow through your system. If you'd like, you can lift the left arm up and get a bit of a side stretch here, lengthening down the left side of the body. You're going to feel it a bit more in the front of the left hip. Maybe the right arm joins it. Maybe the heart opens to the sky. So just find a variation of this posture that's appropriate for you. Just one more breath here. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the mat. Go ahead and step back to all fours. And then bring that left foot between your hands. Get the ankle right under the knee and tuck the back toe if you like. Driving the pelvis forward, tucking the tail. And finding your arm variation. So maybe just that right arm lifts. And then you still have a bit of stability by holding onto that left knee, or both, or heart opens. Your choice. You can draw that front heel towards the back knee and create a bit of traction, which is going to activate the legs a bit more, give you a stronger foundation. Wherever you are, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, one more breath. And then exhale, hands come to the mat. Go ahead and step back to downward facing dog. Walking the hands slowly towards the feet now so that you're coming into a forward fold at the back of your mat. I'm just going to scoot forward a little. And keep the feet hip width apart. You want to take about 2 fists right in between your feet. And that should give you about hip distance. If your hamstrings are tight, bend your knees. Otherwise, pressing your thigh bones towards the back of the room. Just keeping a micro bend in your knees so you're not locking them, and lift your sit bones towards the sky. Letting the crown of the head be really heavy so you can lengthen the neck here. And then go ahead and interlace your fingers behind your back. Press the heels of the hands together and open up through the shoulders here.
Pressing through the feet to lift the sit bones up. And really breathing space through the spine here. Maybe you want to draw the heels of the hands closer together so that you can have a bit more of an intense stretch for the shoulders here. A bit more of a squeeze through all those lymph nodes under the arms. One last breath here now. And releasing the hands. Walking yourself back into downward facing dog. You can take a vinyasa if you would like to. Otherwise, just hang out here in downward facing dog for one breath. And then inhale, we join together to lift the right leg to the sky. Exhale, step it through. Turn your back toes to 45 degrees. And press through the feet. Inhale, come on up to warrior two. So you want to move that front knee towards the pinky toe side of the foot and press through the outside edge of your back foot. You want to press through both feet now, so as if you're tearing or stretching the mat apart. Drop the shoulders away from the ears and gaze over the front fingertips. Maybe dropping a little more into the hips and rotating the thighs down and back so that you're opening the hips towards the side wall. Now just see if you can soften the effort here and find that power and stability within this pose without straining. Dedicating these last couple of breaths here to your commitment to your detox, your commitment to your health, feeling that power in your body. And then inhale, straighten the front leg. And exhale, reaching the fingertips forward, coming into Trikonasana. So you're going to reach the front fingers either towards the shin or to the mat. You might want to hop the back foot in a little if you find that stance is a bit wide. And then roll the left hip over so it stacks on top of the right. Left arm reaches up, inhale. And then exhale, rolling that arm down. Inhale up. And exhale, it comes down. Inhale. And exhale. Changing directions now. Using the Ujjayi breath. Last round here. And then inhale, press through the feet, come on up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale here. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down, step back, downward facing dog. You can take a vinyasa if you like, or just hang out here for a couple of breaths, or you can take child's pose. Lifting the hips up and back if you're in down dog. And then together we'll inhale to lift the left leg to the sky. And then exhale, step it between the hands. Point the back toes to about 45 degrees. Press through the outside edge of the foot. And inhale to come on up for warrior two. Rolling the hips down and back, moving the left knee towards the pinky toe side of the foot. Press through the feet to stretch the mat apart. Tuck the tail and draw the rib crests in. Shoulders away from the ears. When we start to hold the poses for some time, we start to really build that fire in our muscles. Really stoking that heat that's going to help purify and cleanse the body. Softening the periphery of the pose here, drawing in, finding that power and strength here. One more breath. And then inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, reach that front hand, coming into Trikonasana, triangle. So maybe the hand is on the shin or on the mat. Wherever you are, you don't want to be doing a C curve in the side waist here. You want to keep the spine long. So if you can keep the spine long as you tip down, it's fine to come down to the mat, but if you feel like you're curving, maybe come up a little higher. And then roll that top hip up and over. Inhale, top arm up. And exhale, bring it down. You can gaze at the floor or the sky. Probably don't want to be doing neck rolls here. Just let the arm and the shoulder and the side body get the work. And changing directions now. One more round. And then inhale, press through the feet, come on up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale here. And exhale, downward facing dog. And then inhale, drop the knees to the mat. And just come on down to sit. We're going to take a twist to finish. So you can bring both knees in front of you here. Wrap the right arm in front of the knees and inhale. Sorry, other way. Right arm in front of the knees. Inhale, left reaches up. And exhale, turning to look over your left shoulder. The inhalation lengthens the spine. And the exhale allows you to twist a little deeper. Just allowing the more static and seated nature of this pose to let your breath start to slow down. And inhaling back through center. Switching sides now, left arm wraps the knees. Inhale, right arm reaches up. And then exhale to twist. The inhale lengthens the spine as you find more space between the vertebrae. And the exhale encourages the chest to broaden as you twist. One more breath now. And then inhaling back to center. So that concludes our practice for day one, or week one, I should say. Typically we finish a yoga sequence with a pose called Shavasana, which is corpse pose. And it looks like this. Palms face up. And you lie flat on your back. So I would encourage you to take just maybe 1 minute, because this has been a shorter sequence. Just take 1 minute in Shavasana. If you've done this practice right before bedtime, if it's in the evening, it has been a pretty energizing practice. So I would recommend for you even taking a little longer in Shavasana, maybe taking 5 minutes before you go and crawl into bed, just to let it all integrate and let it all settle and wind down.